folks. Thank you again for being here. Our next session here is building off of the stuff that we talked about. So thankfully, with all of the topics in here, they all build on top of each other. And I just recently did a session talking about your broadcast network, about that your church is more than just a live stream. It can actually produce multiple things. And we're going to dissect the one, what is basic. That's your live stream. And I know I did this last year, but this is one of those things that you need to keep talking about because it's something that we can still work on. All right, because things are constantly changing. The stuff that worked last month is not the same stuff that will work this month. So we're talking about the anatomy of a church live stream. So number one, and if y'all were on the last session, you already kind of know the answer to this. What is the purpose of our church live stream? Anybody? What's the purpose of our church live stream? Spread the gospel, outreach. Anybody else? Community. Okay. Yep. Our live stream is to offer a digital experience for those who cannot attend in person. Our live stream should treat our online viewers with the same care and respect as those in the building. Kind of ties into the same thing. You want to have community. You're not nasty to people. Well, some people are. Try not to be nasty with people inside the sanctuary. You want to have some type of fellowship. You want to have that same attitude with people that are online who are watching. And it must be said, and it will be said multiple times, online viewers are not just lazy stay-at-home members. If that's all you're thinking about, your church doesn't have a live stream, you have a country club. If all you're thinking is the only people, if you're only catering to your members, you have a country club. Stop live streaming. And just invite people to come in, because that's all if your outward reach isn't outward and it's inward, you have a country club, not a church. Your live stream helps those who must work on typical service days. So yes, those can be members, but that's anybody who's working on the days. The days of just only having to work Monday through Friday, those days been done gone. You have to work whenever they call. Or like me, and I run my own company, I work when I'm called. That's just the way it is. What else you got? Your live stream is viewed by those with limited mobility. The people who used to be in church, but they can't come anymore. Or people that are in nursing homes that never had anything. And, hey, I'm just sitting here eating my rice pudding and my tapioca pudding or whatever. And they need something to do. And, hey, why not offer that as well, too? Your live stream is sometimes the only option they have to receive the gospel. Like we talked about, some people are not coming into churches like this, so we need to bring the church to them because that's really what we're supposed to be doing the whole way. What building did Jesus have? He didn't have one. All right, so when we talk about the anatomy of the live stream, what is the parts? Now, I know that we have different denominations and all this other stuff like that, so this is just an average, just an idea of it. Most of it follows some type of layout like this. So, and if you don't, some of this is what I prescribe y'all to work on. You have your pre-service. That's before you get started in any way, shape, or form. Some of us, well, I'll break that down later. Then you got your praise and worship, your music or whatever. You got your announcement. You got your sermon. You got altar call, prayer. You also have a call to discipleship, and it looks like it's the same, but it's not. You have your closing. That's typically what we call a benediction. But we also have an ending. That's the end of your stream. And then we have post-service, what happens when your stream is over. So, did I jump? All right, here we go. Imagine, now, I want to give this parallel because I think sometimes we're so churched, we don't do the correlation of what we're doing. I want you to imagine your live stream is a fine dining experience. All right? So when you go and you do the parts of a fine dining experience, what is that? This is the parallels. You got your welcome, you got the server, your waiter, you got their offerings, you actually have your meal, you have check-ins by your server, your waiter, you have additional needs. Hey, I know you finished eating that 7-course, but I know you got room for dessert. You know, you got one of those type of questions. The bill, the farewells, and the follow-ups. Now, let me ask you, if we think about that, let's talk about the welcome. Again, I want to draw a parallel with the church. If we were doing this as a fine dining experience, and if this was your welcome, when you walk into the restaurant, that's what you see. What would you do? Turn around, walk around? So you mean you wouldn't go into that restaurant if that was the staple in your community 50 years ago? If they just decide to let it all go, you wouldn't just go there? Because we used to be the hotness 50 years ago. That's the reason why you should still step inside. I'm forming a parallel with your ministry and your live stream. Now, they have their presentation. That's what your pots and pans are looking at. They about ready to serve that awesome food to you. And I'm going to form the parallel with this. Your server comes up to you. Hey, what you want? You know, that's your server. That's how they came in. Their offerings. Here's some 3-week-old fruit we can start you off with. Look, everybody used to eat that. So, I mean, that's what we used to doing. You got the meal. This smells like some hot trash. Your check-ins, you got to hunt them down. I done drank. I'm beyond parched. My glass has been past empty, and no one is trying to check. Can I get my cup refilled? Hello, can I get somebody? Now I want you to think: how long will you stay at a restaurant if they're doing this? So let's do the parallels. Your pre-service. Your pre-service is like the welcome to your restaurant. Is your pre-service for your live stream trash? What do I mean by trash? There's no effort put into it. What is your live stream? Oh, I just hit start. I hit start whenever I feel like it. I'll start it. I don't care if the mics are muted. I don't care if people are walking around doing whatever. Look, you should be blessed to be in my live streaming presence. And y'all know churches that do that. Yeah. Again, think about that restaurant parallel. When I showed y'all that first picture, y'all first thing was like, I would turn around. If that's your presentation in your live stream, are you wondering why people don't stay around? You have your praise and worship. That's your presentation. Is your music ministry a chaotic mess? Going into our church branding, our live stream displays our character. How good our character is, how bad our character is. If you don't care what's being presented by your church, people won't care about your live stream. If you can't talk to the ministry leaders, or the music ministry and be like, hey, we need to be on our A game. You need to be here on time. You need to do this. We need to start praise worship. If they're like, that ain't, imagine you going into the kitchen and you seeing all them dirty pots and pans, and that's what you're getting ready to prepare and usher in the Spirit in this place. With dirty hands, dirty attitude, I just don't care. I'm going to give you whatever I feel like giving. And your announcements. That's like your offerings at the church. You go, into a restaurant. I got to get closer because I couldn't read it from there. All right, Kenneth, you're in my restaurant. Man, what you want? Well, what do you offer? That's not what I asked you. What do you want? Hurry up, and I got stuff to do. Translation. Somebody walks into that door, into your church live stream. They leave a comment. Good morning, church family. Echoes. No one's responding. Hey, church family, good morning. Can somebody pray for me? Nobody's responding. Hey, I need prayer. Family is going through some stuff. It just goes out into the void. Hey, I go into a restaurant. I've had this happen multiple times. I go into a restaurant. Nobody waits on me. You know what I do? I'm in college rules, more extreme college rules. I give you 5 minutes. You don't respond to me, I'm out. Because my time is precious, and you're not going to waste my time. So think of the same way. People are giving you the one resource that they're never going to get back is their time. If they decide to sit down and watch your live stream and you don't give two craps about them, they're not going to give two craps about what you're doing, because that's displaying your character. If you can't even easily pull out your phone and say, hey, good morning, all our attendees, that shows that you don't care about the small stuff. So if you don't care about the small stuff, how do I know that you will care about the big stuff? All right? So your announcements, broadcast the stuff, what's going on at the ministry. You got your sermon. You know, that's your entree. I can say this at this point right now. If you got any pastors and ministers that are too busy they're not trying to teach the word and they're trying to flex their vernacular and their definitions and all this other stuff, sit down and shut up. I know that sounds rough. But if I'm trying to know about this Jesus that I have nothing about, and I'm having to stop listening to you because I got to pull out a dictionary to even know what you're talking about, are you trying to share the message, or are you just trying to flex? That's great that you got all the degrees and all this other stuff like that, but let's go back to the true teacher. He talked in parables that anybody could understand. I didn't need 17 degrees and a dictionary of a thesaurus and all this other stuff to understand what you're talking about. If you're trying to flex, turn the camera off and live stream to your country club, or do that. The message is to reach everybody else, not the people who are constantly coming in. We're talking about the live stream. If you're live streaming and that's what you want to do, that's fine if you want to do it. Don't live stream. Do that for the house. If you want to live stream, what we started at the beginning, everybody who's watching is not your member. Everybody who's watching does not know what you're talking about. And we're getting ready to go into that, so I'll save some of that stuff as well, too. Let me go back one. Then you have altar call. You got call to discipleship, your closing, your ending, your post-service. And we're going to break down each one of these, all right? So your pre-service, this is correcting the issues with that nasty restaurant. Your pre-service is an opportunity to engage with the online audience and set the tone of your service. Leverage this time for personalized greetings, announcements, highlights, and more about your ministry. It's kindergarten, and it's good to get started to have a countdown clock so everybody knows when you get started. But that's 15, 5, 10 minutes that you can use for multiple purposes. Now, I'm giving my own contemporary version of what I think services should go to. This is just my personal opinion. Because your live stream is, you need to cut the fat. Or the more great way of saying this is cut the dead spots out of your live stream. And we're getting to that. So your pre-service, when you have your countdown, why not have a pre-recorded or live? Hey, we're starting at Prototype Church. I'll use Antioch, so we're here. You got the Antioch logo, you got the clock, and you got 15-minute countdown. That thing moves to the side, and there you got a pre-recorded video or somebody live. Hey, good morning. Thank you for coming to Antioch. We're glad you're here. before we get started, we got a few minutes before service starts. Look, let's go through the highlights of everything that's going on here at Antioch and show you why this is the great, what's the term, Hazel, it used to be? I haven't heard in a while. The best kept secret in Verona. And then you go through the announcements. What's the character? What are you doing in the neighborhood? You got 15 minutes to burn anyway. Why not use that time for announcements? And anybody who's in music ministry, I hope you chime in with what I'm getting ready to say or why I do it that way. So you can use that time. Now, a book that I talk about a lot is The Power of Habit. This book talks about how companies use the 5 senses to engage people. You want to use as many senses as possible because that keeps people involved. That's why you have a clock that is constantly moving so everybody knows at the end of this is when something is going to start. You start with music that's going on because you don't want to just have complete silence. Just like we just talked about, audio was lost in one of the sessions. And what happened? I'm out. Because I can't hear nothing, I'm just seeing pictures. So you give some sound because ending sound means something has changed. If you're hearing something and all of a sudden the music stops, I was like, oh, that means you're seeing the countdown end, you hear the music end, that means something's getting ready to start. You're doing a cue to do that. Change pictures because why are roads have curves in it? So that you're not hypnotized. Roads can be straight the entire time, but they change it because the human mind, we get so much information coming to us that the brain sooner or later starts to ignore what is always the same. So if you drove, like anybody that drove through Arizona and those roads are straight, you've heard of people getting hypnotized because nothing changes. That's what happens on your live stream. If you just have a static image, nothing changes, you have hypnotized people to your live stream and they have zoned out. You have to constantly change some stuff. You have time to leverage all of the stuff that you're using. So, like we said, some of the pre-service essentials, a countdown timer, so people know when you are starting and you start on time. Background music, you want to engage other senses. Moving pictures, that engages visual. We ain't got smell-o-vision, we ain't got taste-o-vision, so we can't do neither one of those, but we want to engage as many senses as possible to keep people plugged in. And like I said, we want to engage the senses. So here's a test for you. Can you hear that picture? Can y'all hear, when you see that picture, can you hear your mind gave you the sound of a kickball? So you can hear that picture, right? Can you taste that picture? That's key lime pie. Oh, my favorite right there. If you've had that, the picture helps engage your senses to kick off other stuff for you. Now, I couldn't put the other picture of this, but can you smell that? And it just shows you how powerful pictures can do. The idea is your picture, what you're displaying, will help engage other senses, and that's the power of ministry. You got somebody who's telling a story, and they're, like Pastor Paul was talking about, a good storyteller and how they're talking about describing it, the mind will compensate and add your history to that story and makes it more personal. That's why it says we don't need to convict anybody by the word, because the word will convict going in and going out. You don't need to do that. You don't need to make it worse or it will do it itself. But the way you paint that picture, you will engage other people to bring their memories to tie into that. And again, this is the anatomy of the live stream. And I know it sounds kind of off, but I mean, all of the stuff ties in. Now, Pastor Paul was talking about this the same way. We're talking about getting rid of the dead spots. Now, let me cut over real quick. What would y'all, and I'm going to try and be quick with this, so I need y'all to yell this out because I'm going to start sweating running around with the mic. What is a dead spot in a church service? I'm going to give you one and lead it off to it. A dead spot is the amount of time it takes for somebody to walk up to the podium and just get prepared to say something as an announcement. That's a dead spot. Offering, where they're passing the plate or people walking, that's a dead spot for people watching on the live stream. Any other examples of dead spots? So when musicians stop and there's a dead spot between they're trying to decide what the next song to do, which shows that's not preparedness. Yeah, I mean, but it's the same way as well too. Any other ideas? What? Altar call. Okay.
Transitioning from video to a speaker.
All right.
Like a presentation to a speaker.
All right. Transitioning from a presentation to a speaker.
Benediction to the ending of post.
Going from the benediction to the ending to post. Great examples. Those are dead spots. The idea is we need to get rid of as many of them because you got 3 seconds to lose somebody's attention online. Because how fast can I click and go to another video? Within a second. Yes, sir.
Minister of music being late.
So for so when no, I gotta stay quiet on some of the stuff. But I completely agree. That's why on time is late. If you're supposed to be somewhere at 10, you be there before. To get there at the same time means you're late. Anyway, so online host, or I deem them as e-ushers. We talk about that. If anybody was inside your sanctuary and they need a fan, they need this, they need to know where the bathroom is, you have ushers inside the church to help dictate and navigate people to different directions. Where is your e-usher when somebody is in your comments and they need something? If somebody on your live stream right now is saying, I need prayer right now, I heard about this, and this, is your church live stream prepared to take them offline or cater to that person's needs, just like if you had an usher inside the church? That's a dead spot. I could be, this is my last hurrah. I heard bad news. I just found this live stream. I don't go to this church. I've never watched this, but I really need somebody to pray with me right now. Unfortunately, there are some churches that they're not even looking at the comments, and that goes unanswered. And now we've helped facilitate, I gave the church one more time. You just accentuated my church hurt. That's why I'm not going back. This is the opportunity that we have and the power that we have in our hands. So online hosts, the idea is in those dead spots, and I keep cutting over, I meant to say that. So those dead spots, we're talking about offering. So instead of having the camera just sitting here, watching people walk around, having the ushers, why not cut over to a live host? Hey, everybody, thank you for joining online right now. It's Ways to Give. We just want to show that if you like what we're doing, if you think this is fertile ground, you can have a graphic show up. These are the ways to give. Instead of having it be, hey, we're just going to do this in the sanctuary, make it personal to the people that is online. Instead of just seeing somebody walk around, now you've cut over to somebody actually talking to you, watching online. So now it's not I'm watching a group event, I have somebody talking directly to me. That's how you can alleviate those dead spots, with hosts that help facilitate those dead spots and make it into a dead spot into more of a personal situation for them. All right? The service part is kind of obvious. The idea is that we merge both the people in together in praise and worship, the ones that are in the house and the ones that are online. So that means just a wide shot of the choir is not enough. It is not enough. I'm not trying to tell you that you need to buy a whole lot of cameras. That's not it. You need to do more than just a wide shot. For those who watch football, now I'm going to mess with Dominic because we just did our Ric Flair woo. So for wrestling, what if it was always a shot from the top balcony and that's what you watched the entire time? Would that wrestling be engaged? What happens with wrestling? You cut down and you get a tight shot so you can see the conflict. You come over, you go to a different event. You do the same thing with sports. Now, I'm not trying to make this into a production, but your live stream is a production. We don't come to church for form or fashion, but your live stream is for form or fashion. Because you need to put effort into production of it. All right? So the idea, do you know how much, like we talked about it the other day, earlier today, what would that do if you're able to see somebody ministering and then you're able to actually see an expression of somebody praising and worshiping? Because the idea of your live stream is to bring them from wherever they are into this place digitally. Not, hey, I'm going to allow you to, we're just going to open the window and whatever you can see, that's what you get. That's like the restaurant mentality. Yeah, we got food. We ain't going to serve it to you. You can get up out your rusty dusty. You can go in the kitchen and cook it yourself. I'm going to the restaurant and I got to cook for myself? Yeah, if you want something, you could do it. How would you do that at a restaurant? That's the same mentality. It's like, if we're going to give care to make cushioned seats and air conditioning that works and all this other stuff for people that come into church, and we cater to everybody, is it that hard for us to cater into adding some more stuff to make it more interactive for people that are watching online? Because we're already spending the stuff to maintain the building. In the grand scheme, adding the other stuff to make that possible pales and is pennies compared to what we have to do. If air conditioning went out, we would change that to make everybody comfortable online. Why not invest in better microphones so it doesn't sound like the whole church is in a tin can? You know? Share all the aspects of the service, all the aspects of the service, meaning that if somebody, and I'm doing it now, and I said I was guilty of this, if anybody's in here that needs to talk, I give you a microphone. Because yes, everybody in the house can hear it, but online, I might not be able to hear you. If somebody is sharing something, show it so that everybody online can see it. If somebody is in the church saying, hey, good morning, we got a brand new couple that got married. There's a brand new couple. Oh, you're only having the camera on me. So now I'm online. I'm like, I'm being left out. Like, I want to see what they're talking about. If it was important enough for you to call it out, it should be important enough for you to show it. You know? Share all the aspects of your service, not just a static shot from the back of the sanctuary. Share scripture, lyrics, and any information that in-person people natively will know. Meaning that if the church has memorized the church doxology or the church covenant, having been led as we believe by the Spirit of God to receive the Lord Jesus Christ as our Savior on the profession of our faith, let us be baptized in the name of the Father. If you memorize that, that's great. Guess what? I don't know the difference between Jesus and a potato chip. So I need you to show me so that I don't feel left out. Everything. We can't take every little thing for granted. Stop demonizing online viewers. I still got pastors now that are shooting themselves in their foot and they're saying, you got to forsake gathering of others. I'm like, bruh, I need to work right now because if I don't work on this Sunday, my house is about ready to be foreclosed on me. I don't need you to tell me I need to be at church. I'm doing everything I possibly can to help my family. If I could be at church, I would, but I can't. So now I'm watching a live stream and I'm hearing you demonize me. I'll go somewhere else. And again, we talked about it. It's not meant for us to sharpen the Bible. The Bible cuts in and going out by itself. We don't need to add anything to it. The word will convict ourselves of it. So if you know when you could have gone to church and you decide to stay at home, you don't need nobody to tell you that. You'll convict yourself. But don't demonize saying you should be here. Brother, I live in Pakistan. I'm hiding in my basement right now because if they knew I was a Christian, they'd try and kill me. Yes, sir.
Or that's the first thing they want to cut out is the live stream. They want to black out because they feel like nobody is coming. So what we cut it out, maybe people will come back to church. And that's not necessarily true. But I just can't stand when they take that as the first thing to take out, thinking that it was at work.
So what y'all probably couldn't hear, they said the first thing that a lot of churches do is cut the live stream out because if they cut the live stream out, then people will come in. So this is my question. Let me not use that example. Something close to home. if the Nintendo Switch 2 came out right now and Nintendo said, we have a brand new console that's coming out, but we're not going to advertise it at all. We're not even going to tell anybody that it's going out. That's going to make more people buy it. Do you hear how stupid that is? Yes, sir. Hold on. Now we got some other stuff, so we're going to bring some. I will rotate this around. Yes, sir.
If people are going to use online as their excuse not to come, they'll find another excuse.
Exactly. That's like I heard somebody say, a guy went to a neighbor and said, hey, my lawnmower is messed up. Do you mind if I borrow yours? And they said, nah, my shoes are wet. And he was like, what does that have to do with it? Excuse don't mean anything, so I can give you any excuse. Because excuses, honestly, that's the cleanest way of saying it. That I normally see. I gotta flush out my marine stuff because that's the first thing I want to fire away. An excuse is an excuse, meaning that, like you said, if this was the little thing that upset me, anything would have upset me. You got too much gospel hip hop in church. I'm leaving the church. If that's what was causing you to leave, something else would have caused you to leave. It wasn't the music that stopped you. It's your thin skin. Or your wanting to not change is what really. Anyway, AJ, be quiet. Keep talking about the other stuff. So again, stop demonizing that. Remember, everyone watching is not a member of your church, is not churched, does not live in your city, state, or country, and more importantly, everybody on your live stream is not watching right now. I know I'm going to hit home when I say this. Well, what's the point of us maintaining the live stream? We only got 30 people watching on Sunday. That's right now. People, that live stream right now at Antioch, there was the original YouTube channel has 375,000 views. It was a 3-minute video of the male chorus singing and marching in the chapel, "We Are Soldiers in the Army." That one video has more viewers than have come into this church in the last 15 years. How many of y'all can say that y'all had 375,000 people come to your church in a year, in a month, in 5 years? So the idea, people think of it is a parallel. Your live stream will live on as long as your video, your content will live on as long as the platform exists. So it's not about who's watching it right now. What's the lifetime of that video? I remember probably when that first video posted, probably 5 people watched it. But over the 15 years, it's 300. You can't compete with that. So don't think so linearly that, we got 50 people in here, but only 5 people are watching on the live stream. That's right now. What about people at work? I can't watch. I'll watch it, like my Q&A. I don't have all the people that I really want to watch, but I have people that watch after the fact, that watch it next week, next month, next year, 5 years from now. That same video that showed how to live stream, I did that 5 years ago, and it's still people watching it. So let me ask you in that same comparison, how many people 10 years from now are going to be physically at your service that happened 5 years ago? How many of y'all have a DeLorean that goes 88 miles an hour and that you can go back in time and be back at the exact same space? You don't. That's a tool that you can't do a parallel with. That's one of the importance of our live stream. And I'm rambling too much. We want to have a front row seat. Make the online experience just as important as engaging as someone sitting in the sanctuary. Put in effort. Now, when it comes to your church announcements, personally, talking about dead spots, I personally recommend that you produce them because a lot of people are not professional talkers, but more importantly, why do you need to produce them? Because it makes them easily shareable. How many more announcements you need to make that the women are having a bake sale? You can record it once and play it and share it on social media. You don't have to do it all the time. And if we're talking about dead spots, This is what I was talking about from a musician standpoint. As a musician, my whole goal is to try and help usher in the spirit in the place, get people from a praise standpoint to a worship standpoint to set the atmosphere so the word can be done. My pet peeve as a minister of music or a musician is we're getting the spirit in its place. All right, folks, let's talk about this. Let's talk the announcement. All right, the choir, go back and do another song. All right, let's rebuild it back up. All right, let's stop and now let's talk about, we want to do the birthdays. Or like go back and do another praise and worship. We're trying to pick it up. Hey, let's stop and let's talk about little Kimi right here. He was able to tie his shoe today. All right, let's go back and do a new song. All right, we're ready. As a minister of music to set the atmosphere, that is chaotic. That's just me. I'm just saying from a music standpoint, that is hard to set the atmosphere. That everybody is in a worshipful moment, then you let them down. Then you got to build them back up again. Then you let them down. And you got to build them up. The idea is play the announcements at the pre-service or at the end. You got 15 minutes that people are just sitting there. Play it then, and now you don't have to disrupt the flow of service. That's just my personal opinion because that's the frustration of music ministry. And I got a bunch of head nods from the people that are musicians. Again, the church announcements, make them short, professional, and shareable. You can edit it all day long until it gets sweet. I remember when I was doing announcements, shooting announcements here, I would have people come in here, and I said, well, what do I need to do, AJ? You can talk as long as you want. Just know when I'm done, your announcement is going to be 30 seconds. You can talk for an hour, all I care, but it's going to be 30 seconds when it's over. My dad used to tell me the mind can take what the butt can withstand. I'm not going to sit here. You start talking too long, sooner or later, I'm getting antsy, and you've lost me. So just get to the point. You don't need to take 15 minutes to talk about that you're selling a pie or that you got a car wash. You don't need to take 15 minutes to do that. The sermon. Now, if we have any ministers or preachers, please share this with them. Present your message in a clear, distraction-free way, utilizing all available technology at your disposal. All. Also, ministers and preachers, look directly at the camera occasionally. Because just like I'm sitting here talking, and I'm saying, ain't this some good stuff? I'm talking to you. And those that are online, ain't that some good stuff that we're talking about? You're making it personal. Anybody remember speech class? What did they say? You make eye contact with the people that you're talking to. You do the same thing with the camera because now you're making it personal to who's watching online. Also, media, add lower third graphics. You can have somebody preaching a great service at all, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. I just jumped in, and I'm like, sooner or later, I'm like, wait a minute, who is this talking? What's the scripture that they're referencing? What's the title of the sermon again? When's the last time you ever watched a sporting event and they only show the scoreboard at the beginning and at the end of the game? That's the same way. Don't annoy people with it, but flash it up. Like, this was the title. This is who's preaching. This is the church that you're watching. This is ways to give. Don't inundate them, but that's what the lower third is for. Because if I'm watching online, I might forget. I just stumbled across your stuff. And now, oh, wait a minute, I gotta look for Pastor Terrence. I need to look for his next sermon. All right? And then also, if the minister or whoever's preaching, the pastor, doesn't do this media ministry, your task, we talked about it, no one is looking for your church online. That's a hard truth, but it's true. Nobody's looking for your church. You know what people are looking for? Answers to questions. I'm looking for, how do I save my marriage? I'm not, now, in the grand scheme, out of the 8 billion people, yeah, there are probably people looking for your church live stream. Unless you got a super unique name, they're probably going to find another church that's not yours with the same name. But they're really looking for answers to questions. How do I fix my marriage? How do I help my kids? How do I have faith? That's what they're looking for. So if your minister or your pastor isn't doing it, listen and turn it into what question is this sermon answering? Or if you're having real difficulty, download the transcript of it, upload it to ChatGPT. Could you please make this into a question? What question is this sermon answering? Got to use the tools. All right, your altar call, the same way. Y'all said this was a dead spot. Just like we talked about offering. Offer a dedicated time that addresses those that are viewing online who have needs that need to be brought before the altar. This could be done through an online host or a moment during service. Hey, we just finished, and I know there's somebody out there right now that needs to hear a message from God right now. Put it in the chat right now. We have people that are watching right now that we can pray for you. How hard is that? Or cut over to one of the hosts that says, hey, we're taking a break right now because now it's focused on those that are online. Does anybody have a prayer request? Put it in the chat. We're going to respond and pray over it right now. Call to discipleship. Same thing. Handle this intentionally just like you would those in person. Recommended to be handed off to the host or a dedicated person in the comments. That's your e-usher. I've known many a time I've seen church live stream where somebody said they wanted to accept the call to Jesus Christ, or they sent a message on Messenger or comments, and it just fell by the wayside. Your closing. We talk about closing and ending. Two different things. Closing. Speak directly to the online viewers. Thank them for joining. Ask them to like, subscribe, and share. Ask them to like, subscribe, and share. No one will do it if you don't ask. Share methods of contact with the ministry, and more importantly, have methods of contact for the ministry. Prayer over the viewers. Make a call out specifically. That's how you separate your live stream from everybody else. Show your character. That's what the live stream is for. Now, hard truths. This has been talked about, and I'm going to actually address it and call it out. Hard truths, number one, get rid of the dead spots in your service. You got to. If you look at the analytics, and I hope you're looking at the analytics, it will tell you when people are dropping off your stuff. Look at, 50% dropped when Sister Susie got up and started rambling at announcements. That's where it needs to get cut. Your sermon is going on past 30 minutes and people drop it. Pastor, I know you got a word from God, but look, I'm not trying to quench your spirit, but from a media standpoint, if they don't receive it, learn to syndicate. Meaning that if your sermon is going on for an hour, I'm not going to sit with my tablet and my phone in an awkward position watching an hour-long video. But listen to this. I will sit and watch on my phone for an hour, multiple shorts. So instead of holding people hostage for an hour, make it bingeable. Chop up that sermon and leave it on high notes that make me want to be like, man, what's the next thing? I got to hear the next thing. So now I'm choosing to watch the next video in a playlist instead of being held hostage watching it for an hour. Number two, it takes effort, time, and money. I know we said start with what you got, but when you know you can do better, do better. And most of the time, doing better is not free. That's great. You start with your camera. If you got the income able to do better, if you know that you need to get better mics and another sound system to fix the issues you got, invest the money in doing it. If you know you're sitting in the front row and anybody in the front pew is going to get dripped on because the AC is dripping, you don't do that, you fix that. So do the same thing when it comes to your live stream. Fix the things that need to be fixed. And those are the hard truths, and now I got a hard question. With all the stuff we talked about with your live stream, is your live stream even worth watching? That's a hard truth. Meaning that a lot of y'all are media and y'all have produced it. I'm asking you, can you watch what you produced? Would you watch what you produced? If you can't do that, why would anybody else? You know? So, any questions? Like I said, the anatomy of the live stream, we gotta trim the fat off this thing. Yes, sir. And I think I got you one. Yes, sir.
For our more charismatic churches that don't like a script or a schedule, how do you relay the importance of sticking to time limits and, schedule and, doing things, crisp and tight? Yeah.
I'm going to steal something that Monty said, and it's an old statement that happens. I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. If you show the analytics that everybody is dropping off for a certain period of time and they don't do it, it's one of those things that if we're called to do what we're doing, you got to make it an executive decision to do it and ask for forgiveness later. Because it's not, if it's about, now I don't believe in dissension. I don't believe in that at all. That's a sin. You don't need to do something like that. But when you know you've been called, I'll put it this way. My mom, she's turning 88 next week. She's been a nurse for 37 years. And I had to say this to my mom when I started my business. I was like, Mom, yeah, would you ever listen to me if I gave you advice on how to do an IV? No, AJ, you don't have any experience doing that. But what if I was really passionate about it? No, that didn't change anything. Why not? Because you don't have any experience in that, AJ. I'm like, okay, Mom. So if I tell you, give you suggestions on what needs to happen from technology, why do you fight me? Well, AJ, I didn't care what you think. Who has the experience in that field? If you want me to respect you when it comes to a nurse standpoint, how do I, and again, you got to handle this with kid gloves. If you have a pastor, how can I nicely say this? When Pastor Sales was here, and I said the same thing to Pastor Paul, like in a contractor role, my whole goal was this, and I said this to any church when I was in music or in media ministry. I said, Pastor, thank you for the opportunity to lead the ministry. I will bring everything to your attention that you need, but with that being said, don't come upstairs. If you ask me to lead it, I will lead it and let you know everything you need to do, but I can't lead if you're going to come in and micromanage and start touching everything. We started losing the children started losing the battle when Moses came down. Moses, you stay in your position, and I'll do my position. A toe makes a horrible heart. A heart makes a horrible lung. Everybody needs to play their role. So if they put you in a position, and it's like, Pastor, I'm trying to help you. You don't know how the analytics are. If I'm telling you this is killing the stream, and if it doesn't matter to you, if this is your calling, this is me, and this is kind of extreme. I don't want to get to the end of my life and say, AJ, I gave you the skills to do this stuff. Why didn't you do it? The pastor didn't want me to. That's not going to be a valid excuse. I gave you the talents and abilities to do these things, and I gave them to you to do, not to people please. When God called me, he didn't have a Zoom conference call with multiple people. He told me what I need to do, and I'm responsible for what I need to do. Now, I'm not trying to cause no dissension, not to flip everything over, but if you are in a position of leadership where they entrusted it to you, you need to instill trust in leadership to be like, if I need to take a left here that doesn't break the vision of what the church is doing, I need to make that move. That's just me. That might not work with everybody, but that's where I'm at. Because I think reaching somebody else that needs to hear about Jesus is more important than appeasing somebody's ego. That's just me. I could be wrong. I've asked God if I'm wrong, please tell me. Haven't gone wrong with that yet. So that's a long drawn out answer, but that's just me. Anybody else have any other questions at all? Any thoughts? Any stuff prick you? Yes, ma'am.
I think that by you saying, something like cut the speakers if it's too long. It's nothing wrong with that because, like you said, you can make it shorter and then have it online still just say something like, coming up, watch this tomorrow or the next day, something for them to look forward to. Like you said, look forward to it, and then that way they can, first of all, it'll do good for your YouTube channel because you have somebody waiting and they say, notify me. So when the next one come out, that way you're chopping it up, but it's like a plan that you have in motion for it. You're just doing it in 3 consecutive events, but it's still the same message.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we said. We're doing this for a purpose. We're not doing it maliciously. I'm not cutting my pastor off because he just ticks me off. No, I'm doing it. There's a strategy why I'm doing it. So it's like, Pastor, if I cut you off within 15 minutes and cut your sermon into 3 digestible videos that reaches 10 times more people, or do you want it to stay in one long video and now you got 5 people watching it? Is it about reaching the people, or is it, I just want to stroke my ego? And I'm being extreme when I say that. That's not everybody's response. It's probably not most people's response. But the idea is we have to shake up what we think. Because I remember being at church, we would be the first ones to get there at 7, and you were held hostage. Where church would start at 8, we turn on everything. You got breakfast, then you had Bible study, Sunday school, then you had church service, then you had lunch, then you had an afternoon service at 3, then you had dinner, then you had evening service, then you had to clean up, and then we back on. That's how I used to go. Man, nah. I mean, that used to be how I grew up, but it's like, you'll be lucky if you get anybody to do that because you don't have to take forever to express a message. And again, if you want to do that in person, that's fine. Your live stream don't have to be that. You can let people preach on for 15 hours if you want to. That doesn't mean the live stream got to go on for that long. That's what video editing is for. Any other questions, comments at all?
I don't think I would not cut my pastor's sermon during a live stream. However, I might take the recording and edit it post-service and then post an edited version of it instead of leaving the live stream up there forever.
No, and I'm in complete agreement because my idea is multiple paths of entry. So YouTube, I forgot, they made this change. You can actually have multiple live streams going on at the same time. So I believe in having an abridged service that you might have a hybrid one where you have hosts that's doing that, but you got your traditional. Hey, you just want a camera in the back and you want to experience everything. Hey, I'm going to let y'all do that, but then the idea is not to force any viewer onto one path. So yes. If you can have one that's short, you can have one that's long. Again, it's left up to you to do as many as you want.
That's the way I do it. I have 2 different platforms. I have the full service, and then I just have the speaker, then I just have the prayer, then I just have, just announcements. I do all of them because it's breaking it up. And then, but they still have the platform to go to the full service if that's what they want to see.
Yep.
You're doing that in post, though, what you're talking about? Yes, after the whole service is over, I take each segment, and then I just, put it up in different ways.
And then you can also do that live too. So there are multiple ways. I mean, again, it's going to take extra effort, but you can. Because, honestly, to live stream the full service, you just put OBS and, put a camera in the back, still put the effort in to do all the changes, but you can have it live. But then that same mix, you just split that off into another computer that's going to something else or whatever, and you make it shorter. And it's like, hey, we'll continue next week, on that once it's short. The idea is, again, not to force feed everybody biscuits and gravy. Give them what they need. All right? Anything else? All righty, folks, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.